Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Iron Fist Season 1, Episode 13. It's called Dragon Plays with Fire. Full spoilers for the episode. It's over.
We made it.
It's done. It's finished.
I never have to watch this shit show again.
I'll tell you here
Oh
about
no,
Season
no.
2.
Well, okay. This particular season of a shit show. And I'm praying that it doesn't get a season 2, frankly.
Well,
Shut up. Shut up. Let me have my moment.
I think it will.
Let me have my moment.
I think the smart thing to do would be to say, no, Season 2 of Luke Cage is going to be Heroes for Hire, so Danny's just going to be a character with his show.
Yeah, even if you don't even like just call it season 2 of Luke Cage, just say, right, both of these launch a new show called Heroes for Hire and just have them.
You don't need to do that, but yeah, I mean, you could.
Yeah.
Because honestly, one of my main thoughts throughout this season actually is that why wasn't Danny just a supporting character in Luke Cage? Well, whether it be Season 2 of Luke Cage or halfway through Season 1, whatever, whenever you wanted to bring him in. Maybe it felt like a place. It perhaps would have, but given the amount of
less infuriating than this show.
Given the amount of story he actually had in this season, it's about enough for a subplot in another show.
Yeah, pretty much.
About that. So you think of this season, you think about the fight with the hand, you think this final episode of this season was about retrieving a tablet from Harold's office.
From an office, yeah.
Well, it's actually Ward's office, but it's Harold's taking it over. But in the Rand building, which by the way, at the start of the episode when they went into the Rand building, I was like, man, we've not seen this place in like 5 episodes now. I feel like I've not seen this in ages.
It's a very good point.
But yeah, so they sneak in and get this tablet. Why? Because Harold is framing Danny for embezzlement and drug smuggling and using the company as a front for passing gouged drugs through it. He's set that up. So the last episode is about something that's not really been set up until the last scene of the second last episode. Everything we'd actually been spending time on most of the season was done last episode, and this was mostly a separate thing that was just tacked on at the end. Now, of course, yes, the Meatrums have been a big part of the show, and it's kind of wrapping up their plot. Some of that doesn't make sense. We did mention how Ward kind of... We could really see the idea with Ward from the last episode, and I'd say that continues here. Ward's kind of conclusion feels like I see what they were trying to do with him.
It's kind of the best part of the episode.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? The best part of acting in this episode... It's when so Ward goes to Joy and he throws on the newspaper, but then it cuts to him and Danny in an alleyway, and it's where Ward's giving him the information for everything, and it's when Danny tells Ward that
Harold killed his parents.
That Harold killed his parents, which shock.
Yeah.
If you didn't already think of that idea, you knew it from the opening scene because Harold's like, "Oh no, I've been messing with Danny long before he came back."
Yeah.
Now, admittedly. Yes, I incorrectly guessed halfway through the show that I thought, well, this was the part of it was less likely. I said Danny's dad might still be alive. That was the less likely part. The other part I said is that Danny's father was a villain and he was actually working with Gow, and so it went south. Now that didn't turn out to be true, and that's fair enough. I got it wrong. It wasn't that predictable in that sense, I guess. However, that would have been more interesting. I was shooting too high, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, Harold is the villain. What a shock.
Yeah,
that's literally all this boils down to. Oh, he was the villain the whole time.
From episode 1, we have known he's been villainous. There's not a part of our body, a part of our soul that's for a second doubted that he's actually a villain. So to twist it in the final episode and go, no, he killed Danny's parents all along, I'm shocked. I'm shook.
It is really long because in this scene where Danny's like, oh yeah, I want to kill him, and it's like you can't get how much I hate him, and Ward's like, yeah, I went through an entire lifetime of abuse from him, but sure.
Well, the point I was getting at though is the one moment acting I actually really like, because Ward's not been a great actor this season, but the one moment I like is when Danny says he killed my parents. The next 3 seconds of Ward's face is actually priceless. It's gold. So I'll give it that. That was basically the gist of the plot. They run off and see Gow for a second because they think she might have a copy of all the information.
She was conveniently just left in the room.
Yeah, she's conveniently just left in the room, and she spouts out more stuff and tells Danny that Harold's behind.
And this time he believes her.
Well, at this point, he's actually framing him for.
Well, yeah, but it's the bit where Gal says, "I've never once lied to you."
And of course, every time Harold's been brought up since that scene where she told him that Harold was a bad guy, we've been like, Danny, remember what she told you? Claire, remember what she told him? And to an extent, Colleen, although, again, like we said last video, she was dying at the side of the room. I'll buy that maybe she wasn't paying attention to what was going on.
That's fair.
But certainly those two characters, yeah. And by the way, they're totally setting Claire up as being some sort of... Because she pointed out her claws as she was leaving. Oh, these belong to me. And I'm still training. Remember, I'm still training, because when Defenders comes, I'm going to be able to fight with everyone else, with my claws. Even though Blondie from Jessica Jones is Hellcat, maybe I'll be Hellcat. She can just be Blondie, and I'll have the claws.
Yeah. Who knows what they're doing with her at the minute? I'm actually not entirely sure why she's fighting.
It's just to give her something to do. And to be fair, the amount of time she's found herself in trouble over these shows, I actually buy that she wants to.
Well, no, I get that she wants to learn to defend herself. I don't buy that she's always feels like, why are you always doing this to everyone? It's like there's like a little bit of an understanding as to why they're on their mission, whatever that may be for the individual people. But she's never felt like she actively wants to get involved and be alongside the fight with them. I mean, I get that she wanted to learn to defend herself because she keeps getting caught up in it. But this felt like a more active role, which I don't know.
Oh, you can't really say that yet, though. Like, she's not...
No. But I just don't buy that if that is the case. I just don't. It just doesn't sit right for me personally, and that's not a dig against this show in particular, because obviously that's set up.
Yeah, no, we have to wait and see what she's doing. I mean, it could just be like, oh, she'll be there because she knows she's going to be in this situation, so she has to fight. Maybe it's just a defense thing. I don't.
Maybe.
But so where do you even begin with the rest of the stuff? I mean, I guess this episode wasn't as bad as the last few because at least there was plot for the most part constantly moving forward, unlike a lot of the recent episodes.
I feel like I actually kind of feel similar to this one as I do the earlier few, like the first 3 or 4, where it's like, okay, it's fine. It's less offensively bad than some of the others, but this is supposed to be your big ending to your story. This is where I'm supposed to care.
Outside of the last 5 minutes, which are pretty annoying.
Outside of that, yeah.
Outside of the last 5 minutes, the actual main plot of the episode though was kind of less egregious than what we've been having recently. That's not to say that it was necessarily good. It still kind of felt weak in terms of a finale, certainly. So we come back again to not really caring about the characters being a big problem, because that should feel kind of epic in the sense that it should be fine, because we're using this location, this Rand Industries building, which has been a focal point for at least half the goddamn show, even though we've not been there for a little while, as I mentioned. It should feel like a big thing. That's just where the showdown should be.
Yeah.
So I almost found myself during the scene where they're sneaking in and they're going behind people, and Danny apparently swings off the roof or something to get in the window. I don't know where he came from.
Yeah, I don't know either. They were watching the elevator, and I figured it would have. Usually you can see what floor the elevator's on in a building like that. But no, I just assumed they were watching it come up and they were waiting, and they're just waiting for the door to open. But no.
Nah, he just swings in from behind. And
do you know what would have solved that problem? When they saw the elevator was moving, it was coming up. If they just pressed the button, it would have opened on their floor. And then it had been stuck.
This is true. And it's almost like it doesn't show you what floor it's on just out of convenience, because almost every elevator on the planet has a display saying, this is what floor it's on right now.
It's especially when it's less so in smaller buildings, but when you get to buildings of that size, absolutely, every single one of them.
I've never been in a building more than, say, 5 floors that's not had it.
I've been in one of 13 floors that's not had it.
It's a bit weird. But this is a skyscraper in New York, so it should have a goddamn display.
It absolutely should have it.
You need to know how long you're waiting until it gets to your goddamn floor.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. But it's not there, so whatever. And Joe Fitz, so Killeen's about to get shot at one point because Harold's got the gun on her, because she was going up behind him and he caught her. And Danny does the first and only cool thing he does with his Iron Fist the entire show.
Yeah.
Where he punches the ground and it creates a big shockwave and all the glass shatters on the floor, and Claire can see it from down the floor.
The moment from the end of the trailer.
The moment from the trailer, which we'd been waiting for all season, and it turns out it was in the finale, and this was the only cool money shot they had.
And it was pretty cool, to be fair to them, which is exactly why it's in the trailer, admittedly, because it's like, this'll get him.
But why is it the only one? His power's kind of lame. Maybe it's cool in the comics, but if you've only watched this show, like I have, his power is lame.
I just think they didn't do anything with it. I mean, because in this, I mean, he stops the bullet right with it. It's like you could have done like you're clearly showing me the range that he can have with this, even just in combat scenarios. But they've never really done anything with it.
Not to keep compared to other Marvel shows, but compare it to Sky's fights in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when she uses her quake powers, and how they kind of seamlessly integrate that into little moments where she'll use it to get height, or she'll use it to kick someone out from under them, or she'll sort of hit one guy with that and then punch another guy, and they then get it into the fight in fun ways where it complements the actual hand-to-hand combat.
There's so many things I could think of with this. Use it to punch a support pillar in a building, try and bring down something on your opponent. Punch the floor underneath them and go, all right, create a hole that they're going to drop through. Just even there, that's two that no, they didn't do either of those.
Even then, I'll even do anything that specific. Just use it in some way. How many times have we even seen his hand light up this season? Not a lot, really.
I think it's in the single digits, frankly.
It might be in the single digits. It's not been a lot. There's been a lot of talk about the Iron Fist. There's not been a lot of actual Iron Fist.
There hasn't.
There's been very little anything, to be honest. It has mostly been talking about things, and usually with repeating information. Usually we don't get to see things, and we're just told about things, and that leads to probably the biggest problem with the finale. Why am I supposed to give a shit that the hand have apparently killed Kunlun?
Yeah, we haven't seen anything from it.
Why do I care? Why do I give a single solitary shit? The only people we've met from Kunlun are Danny, who's the main character, in Davos, and they've talked about Kunlun. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and the most we've seen of Kunlun is the cave bit, the little bit outside the cave.
Yeah, which they established is outside of Kunlun, though, because you can see, because they later on in the episode you see this scene where they look at Kunlun from that distance. They see there's Kunlun, we can see it. This is the gate to Kunlun.
Yes.
We've never seen inside it. We had like one quick shot of like monks beating Danny with sticks or something like that. Why am I supposed to care? Like, all you've done is talk about Kunlun. You have not given me a single reason. You've not actually personified it in anyone.
Yeah, it's we're supposed to care because Danny cares, and that's frankly just not good enough.
And I mean, I imagine this is more set up for Defenders than it is for a season 2, just because if the hand are going to be the villains in season 2, this starts off Danny with this personal vendetta, and well, also guilt because hey, you abandoned your post and now Kunlun got decimated by the hand, you dumb little shit.
Yeah, it's exactly. Everyone goes, oh, maybe like the hand haven't attacked in however long. They're basically a myth. It's like, well, because they knew that there was someone there guarding it, and then they went, hang on, no one's there. Let's go now. That seems like a good plan.
Yes, it's almost like when Davos said, it's unprotected with you being here. It's vulnerable. He actually was speaking some kind of sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Which leads to the other problem, because right before that scene, we had another really weird scene where Davos is talking to Joy, who for some reason is okay with the idea of killing Danny, even though, maybe I'm wrong here, maybe I'm mistaken, you can tell me. But all I got from the scenes from the last episode and this episode was that she's pissed at Ward. I never got really pissed at Danny. Even she has that one little moment in the last episode when she's like, "Oh, Danny, you knew all this time, right?"
Yeah.
There was like one small moment, but that was before the whole thing where she was shot and she was like, "Danny, no, don't turn yourself in."
Exactly.
She was still pro Danny. She was still pro Danny.
And let's be clear as well. She's very much against killing as well, because she was like, "Don't kill her dad."
Oh, exactly. But Davos is like, yeah, well, I can help you, and we need to take out Danny. He's the problem. Your life got screwed up the minute he showed up in your life. And it's like, well, yeah, but it wasn't... Her dad was already around. Ward was already working for her dad. Danny just brought everything to light.
He's kind of inconsequential.
He is, actually. That's kind of the problem, is he's almost irrelevant to the show in a weird way. Everything was happening anyway.
The only purpose I can see for that is... I don't know. I can't see one. I don't know what I'm on about. I thought I had something, but I don't.
So she's like, what do we do? She just goes along with it. So apparently her and Davos are teaming up for a season 2, I imagine.
Even though it spent the whole time telling us that she's this moral center, we're supposed to agree with her.
And maybe Davos already knows that Kunlun's fallen, and that's why he's so hell-bent. Maybe this is why he's went down this dark path.
Maybe, but does that mean it was like this as he left? Like, What?
Not as he
No,
left. I mean, no, I don't mean as he left. I mean, he's went back and found it like that, and he's
right, so
come
he's
back.
gone back and then come back
Yeah.
to New York to see Joy.
I mean, we cut to Danny and Colleen being in the Himalayas already in the next scene, so why not?
Fair point.
Time's passed.
Yeah, fair point.
Ships
I
in the
can't
night,
argue with that.
they've went in
Yeah.
opposite directions.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm thinking that's why he's so hell bent on dealing with Danny at this point, rather than just going back and defending Cunlin himself. Which, by the way, so he brings Colleen to Cunlin, right? So I've got a couple of queries about this. I've got a couple of queries. So first of all, he comes by with a pizza, and Colleen and Claire are there training, and Claire takes her claws and is like, "Oh, these are mine," and hint, hint, future things.
Yeah.
And during this scene, Danny says to Colleen, "Oh, maybe you can start taking students again. Got Rand Industries. I could
Set up a scholarship.
Set up a scholarship like you had before. Except at this time, it'll actually be a scholarship for proper schools and not
It'll be legit.
the hand." And okay, fair offer. And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll have to think about it, but yeah, it sounds good." And then 2 minutes later, Claire leaves, and they're left on their own. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm going back to Cunlin." And she looks all upset, disappointed. Well, that's actually before Claire leaves, but Claire leaves, and then they continue the conversation. And he's like, "But I was kind of hoping you'd come with me." And I'm like, "But wait a minute. Why did you even offer the whole scholarship thing if you were intending on asking her to come with you to Cunlin?" Which, by the way, unless you're going to do whatever you're going to do very quickly,
You're
going
there
to
for
be
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years. Which is why it made sense when Colleen looked upset, because she knows that this is a 15-year trip.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. It's like, yes, she is supposed to look upset. It's like, I might not see you for 15 years minimum.
By the time I see you again, I'm probably not going to be able to have kids anymore. Not that she necessarily wants to. I'm just pointing out the passage of time. She's going to be maybe not quite hitting that age, but not far off of it.
She's going to be getting up there, yeah.
So she's in her mid-20s right now. She'll be in her 40s,
Yeah.
early 40s probably at the least by the time he comes back.
At best. That's assuming he makes that in that 15 years.
Well, it'd be another 15 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So otherwise it'd be 30 years, if not.
Oh, she definitely can't have kids in 30 years.
Exactly.
We're way past that. We're past the point of no return in 30 years.
Exactly.
That's not...
Which is why this is just ridiculous, because she's meant to look all upset, and she's like, "Look, I can set this up for you before I go," was the implication I was getting, and you can continue your life's work, what you thought you were doing good, but now it's actually something good.
Yeah, but I was hoping you'd come with me. All right, well then she's not going to be here to teach any kids, then is she? She's going to be with you and Cunlin. And the fact is, as soon as it cut to a scene of them climbing, like going through the mountain, I was like, all right, I know where this is going. Cunlin's already decimated because he's an idiot, and this gives us a good reason why he can't go, why he's never going to go back. He's always going to be in New York with the Defenders and whatever else, is because it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, see, I wasn't so sure it's been decimated. I figured that the path's just closed, so it doesn't appear in our world anymore. But the Hand are inside. But who knows if they're...
All right, so you think we don't know if it's actually been destroyed, it's just...
Yeah, I didn't get the impression they'd been destroyed. I got that the Hand had infiltrated, but then after they'd infiltrated, the path closed. So presumably when the path to our world closes, it just vanishes from our plane of existence.
Oh yeah, I get that. I just... Honestly, this show has just been so... Like, there's been no depth to anything. It's just, I take it as it was, and honestly it felt like there's hand soldiers here. I thought Cunlin put up a fight, they took out some hand soldiers during the process, but it's gone now. Admittedly, maybe that doesn't explain why it's just completely like missing from the mountain, which
is why I figured that the path had closed and he'd missed it. He'd missed his journey back, so which is also why you'd have to wait 15 years.
But to me that's not as interesting though, because he doesn't know if it's fallen or not. Well, that means all next time we see him, all we're going to hear from the idiot is
the guilt of whether or not, and him trying to find a way back.
Oh, that's so not interesting to me. I don't...
Nah, but that's what I assumed had happened, and what I assume will be a potential season 2.
Yeah, but you can't get back. It's 15 years.
Yeah, it's 15 years, but does he accept it's 15 years and get on with his life and do the Defenders, or does he try and find another way back somehow with something?
See, I'm thinking they've just flat out destroyed it, or at least that's what he's going to think, because that gives him motivation for vengeance, it gives him motivation to go after them and to work with the Defenders to take them down, because he can't do it himself. As much as he's the living weapon and he's the one destined to destroy the Hand, he can't. And do you know what? I cannot wait for him to realise that he can't do it on his own. I hope he feels decimated.
Do you know what? I have a problem here? Obviously, we've interpreted this in two different ways, and the problem is, I don't give a shit either way. I'm kind of putting this up for argument's sake, but I don't actually care either way. I don't care if it's destroyed or if it's just the path shut. It hasn't given me a single reason to give a shit about this in the slightest.
I think I want to point out, when I say destroyed, I mean, I was kind of saying it this way because it was disappeared, but let's say the path is closed as well. I still think it's... Maybe destroyed's not the right word because that implies the actual physical place is destroyed.
Perhaps?
I'm thinking more... No, the hand have got it. Whatever's going on, the hand are inside and they've got it. Like, the hand's won. To me, I take this as the hand have already won.
Right, okay.
They've already got it. It's not... I think they've won. I think, yeah, there's some hand soldiers on the ground, but it's like, Kunlun, like I say, put up a fight. Soldiers from Kunlun put up a fight. They took some of them out, but it's done.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I don't care, so whatever. I just don't care if they're all dead or in the hand took it or not, because they've shown me one monk in a vision, and then they've shown me 3 monks beating him with sticks, and they've shown me Davos.
Davos
That's it.
And him talking about it endlessly, like we're supposed to care when we've seen none of it.
That is it. That is all they've shown me from Kunlun.
So we end up on the roof of the building right before this with Harold.
Mm.
And Harold's like, the last time I was up here I was thinking of throwing your father off the roof because it's my company and all the rest of it and blah 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 blah. And
you wouldn't look guilty for that, would you, Harold?
And Harold shoots him in the hand, whatever, and Danny eventually kicks him onto like a pole sticking out from the scaffolding for the radio tower, whatever it is in the roof. And he has this moment where he looks up and there's 2 red lights, probably the safety lights for airplanes kind of thing that you get on tall towers. Either that or something else, but either way, there's these two red lights at the top of this structure on top of the roof. And he sort of looks up and he's been doing this like visioning thing where he, since the start of the show he's had these like flashes of visions of the past and all the rest of it.
I haven't mentioned it. I think it's a really ugly transition whenever this camera does this horrible shaky thing.
Yeah, it does a shaky thing and sort of the light beams go up and down.
It's really ugly. I don't like it.
But he does this thing with these 2 red lights and it turns into these 2 red eyes, implying this is when he fought the dragon in the cave.
Yeah.
In the cave, and you see these 2 red eyes and it cuts back and that's all we see of it, and I'm like, this moment would probably work really well had I actually seen some of this fight, this dragon fight. Had we had an episode that was a flashback episode and we'd seen him go through these trials and face the dragon in the cave, this might mean something to us, but it doesn't.
Do you know what? I don't even need to go as far as that, but I need something, because the last time we really got anything about his journey to the trial, right, was when the monk he was imagining the monk, and it was the messages that he was and advice that was giving him on his way to the trial.
Yeah.
And we kind of went from there, and we saw him outside the cave when he'd beaten it. But then that was so long ago that we had the stuff with the monk that it's like, well, okay, this means nothing anymore.
But here's the thing, yeah, we get him talking about it. We get him to see him like after he's beat it. He's like, oh, you did it, you beat it. Davos saying that to him. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. It's all telling us things. It's not showing us any of it.
I don't even need to see the fight with the dragon. I get that might just look ridiculous.
Oh yeah, sure.
Show me inside the cave. Show me I assume as a physical trial, there's some sort of emotional, intellectual trial in there as well.
When I say see the dragon before, I don't actually mean a literal fight. I just mean the build up to the dragon. Maybe we ended the scene on the moment where he finally sees the eyes, and it's like, are you ready to fight kind of thing, like whatever. Yeah. But we never had any of this. We never had. And don't get me wrong, sometimes withholding information can make things intriguing. You give us parts of it and you let parts of it slip out throughout. But that's not what's happened on this show. People have just straight up told us things and then they've repeated it. And they've repeated it. And they've repeated it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why should I care? Why should I care about Kunlun? I don't give a shit about Kunlun. I don't give a shit about Danny. I don't give a shit about Joy. And why is Joy turned to the dark side? I don't get that.
It made me care less about Colleen, because even after the hand stuff and it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to flip back and I'm on your side anyway. I don't care about everything I just dedicated my life to. I don't believe all of that anymore. but I'm also going to drop everything I did work to, my dojo and my training, and fostering the kids. I'm going to drop all that just to go see Kunlun with you anyway.
Well, to be fair though, she did point out she has no students left.
Well, yeah, but she can. She puts up flyers. I'm sure she get new students.
That is the least of my issues with all that. I don't
Well,
care.
sure, but I just mean like the fact that her being a teacher is kind of what her thing has been. That's kind of been her life's calling, really. And then she's just dropped all of that for Danny to go. Yeah, sure, I'll go on a trip to the mountains with you. I just don't buy it.
Well, I don't buy it either because their romance has been bungled. Had they actually sold me on their romance, I actually wouldn't have a problem with it.
Well, yeah.
I'd be fine with it because it's him letting her into his way of life and his thing that it's been to her and to us, funnily enough as well, this distant mystical thing that feels like a fake story because we're not seeing any evidence of it.
And do you know what is really amusing? You typically really don't like the mystical elements of shows and things. That's often what puts you off. But even you're going, yeah, we needed more of that.
Well, we did because we needed more of something. We did,
Yeah.
If you didn't give me that, then fine, but give me something, make it interesting in some way, and it didn't. And let's go back to Joy for a second. The last time we seen Joy before this scene at the end is when she goes to her fellow and confronts him about framing Danny because word's shown on the newspaper. Because she's very like, I don't believe you word, I don't believe you word. And then he whips out the newspaper, and again, she goes and confronts him because she knows that Danny didn't do this. Again,
She's like, Danny is a good person.
Yeah.
He had nothing to do with this.
she's Team Danny. She's super Team Danny, even at this point.
Yeah.
I don't get that last scene with her. Why is she
makes no
okay with
sense.
this?
I don't get it.
Stupid. Goddamn stupid.
Yeah. Something I did like.
Oh, go on.
Ward being the one to, push his father over the edge, so to speak. I like that it was kind of his moment, because that felt like he's kind of had times where he's tried to stand up to Harold, where he killed him last time, but this time it felt like he'd earned it a bit more.
Yeah, sure.
At least the arc was there and the beats were there.
It was kind of weird that he's now killed him twice.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, bit odd.
At least they had the sense to cremate him.
That counts as decapitation. His head's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, we're actually going to do another video. We're going to do like a season spoiler-free kind of discussion where we talk about the season as a whole for people, should you watch it kind of thing, and we'll have some general season complaints to bring up in there. But obviously that'll be spoiler-free, so people who have not watched the show can watch that. But is there anything super spoilery you want to talk about for the season as a whole before we wrap up this? Because we're not going to do spoilers in that video. We're going to keep that spoiler-free. So is there anything specific to spoilers?
Do you know what? I don't even know if there's anything I care about enough to discuss at length with spoilers.
Yeah, the show, it's funny because you go back to the first couple of reviews, I think, okay, there's a lot of problems with this, we didn't really like it, we don't like Danny's character, but we hope it gets better. And we kept keeping the kind of, slightly optimism, let's see if it gets better. Episode 2 really annoyed us, but maybe it'll get better. And just slowly, over the course of the season, it has beat every last bit of hope,
It's not even over the whole season, because up till episode 6, 7, we were like, this is better than the last one. This is better than the last one. 6 was definitely like the high point, I think.
There weren't positive reviews, though.
They weren't positives, but they were mildly better than the previous episode each time. And it felt like we were on an upward trend, at least. Slowly, but
yeah.
But we were. And then after around 7, 8, and it just went down and down and down. Now look at us. Look where we are now. We just hate this piece of shit.
Because 8 was terrible. 8 was terrible and boring, and then by the time we got to 10, we were just, this is shit. This is terrible. We want this to be over. And here we are. Connor has chronic hiccups. I want to point that out because that noise was disgusting, and it sounds like he's just being really unprofessional, but he can't help it. So
it's true. That's probably a more interesting story than anything you've just watched in the last 13 episodes of Iron Fist, frankly.
More specifically, that was the sound of him holding back a hiccup, I believe.
It was. Yeah. I'm kind of considerate that way.
I don't know, actually, but it's like that one that actually is worse.
Yeah, but see, I don't know that when it's when I make the choice to hold it in.
But that sounds like some sort of weird demonic noise. Oh dear. Anything else in this episode that was worth talking about? I don't think so. Obviously, Hogarth, we see her and she helps with stuff, and
It made me laugh when she walks in when they're, cremating him, and they're having their heart to heart, and she's like, God, so much emotional bollocks, basically. It's like,
yeah,
she walks in, obviously she hasn't been around since, what, episode 3 or 4 either?
I think it was
And she's
4.
like,
Yeah.
and she's like, I don't care about any of this shit. That's how I feel when they're having that conversation as well.
No, that sounds about right. Sounds about right. Yeah, that's us. That's all I could say about the finale. It was mainly those last 2 scenes that I think were the most worth talking about, because
Yeah, definitely.
they set up a lot of things and they didn't really jive with what we'd seen, and there's a reason why it just doesn't work, because we don't care. I mean, it ends with him looking angry, she's behind him, and the camera zooms into his glowing hand.
Which I don't understand. Why did he turn his hand on to glow? Like,
because it's a cool ending shot, Connor.
yeah, but no. We've seen that it takes physical energy out of him. He can't. He's told us before he can't use it again straight away.
Mm-hmm.
He has avoided using it a lot of times when it would have made fights a lot easier. Like even when it wasn't completely inaccessible. Think about when he was like in China. He was fighting the drunk guy. It's like, no, I might need this later. This is, I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to use my own abilities. And then there's nothing there. It's just, nah, screw it. I'm going Yellow Fist.
I'll have it for you.
No, it actually really annoyed me. And the final shot should not annoy me that much.
No reason for it. No reason for it whatsoever. It is. But then, I suppose they did set up that his anger can bring it on. Because the first time he ever used it is when he got really angry. And his emotions got really heightened.
Yeah, but didn't they then tell us a whole subplot with Bakuto's hand that his anger made it inaccessible to him?
Yeah, but I'm not saying it makes sense. I'm saying the first time it ever happened, it was because he got angry. And I actually disputed this because they claimed that he had to center his chi.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And
I
it
don't
felt
understand.
the opposite. And I'm pretty sure you defended that when it happened. We talked about this in episode 2. I think you defended it. And said it made sense to you. Doesn't make any sense more now, does it? No.
Well, it was fine. I was like, okay, at the time, I think I defended it. I was like, all right. But now they've set up so firmly that him being, like we said, that whole subplot was he was too angry to use it. That doesn't make any sense at all.
This show was shit. This show was flat out shit.
This is easily the worst show we have covered consistently, I think. Well,
I mean, Arrow season 4 was pretty bad.
Yeah, okay. I think that just feels more tolerable because I only have to watch 40 minutes at a time.
It's also, if nothing else, it does go quicker. The pacing, there's things happening quicker.
Most of the time, yeah.
It's stupid things, but it's things.
But it's things, yeah. That is a good point.
Oh, this was easily. I really did not like the back half of Daredevil season 2. I would trade it.
I agree with you on that.
I would trade it in a heartbeat. This was mind-numbingly awful for the majority of the show.
Yeah.
There is almost nothing. Is there anything to redeem it? I don't think there is. We like Colleen to a point. We like Claire to a point. But ultimately, they started not making sense just to fit the plot.
Yeah. I think I mentioned around episode 9-ish that I was seeing people say that by the end of his journey, Danny has really grown and you understand where he's coming from as a hero.
Piss off.
He balls grown. He's the same selfish prick he was at the start.
He's not had an arc. There's been nothing.
There is not one.
He has whined and said the exact same things constantly.
Literally, the most I can say he's learned is he learned to listen to Gao. That's it.
How did no one know Harold was a villain? Seriously.
The man came back from the dead. Like,
even before that, from the first scene he was in, he was slimy, he was seedy, he was evil, he was so obviously a villain, and not a single character was questioning it, except Ward, obviously, to has seen him for years.
I did say I could buy why Joy overlooked it at first, because she'd just got her father back after 13 years. I can accept that for a little bit. Danny's got no excuse. Danny
has zero excuse.
He was even told, hey, that dude was evil as shit. but I'm gonna go and tell him all the information of everything anyway, and trust him like he is my father, basically.
Kyle was the best character on the show.
Oh, absolutely, undoubtedly, and his death is the worst moment of the show.
Alternatively, it's the best moment of the show.
It is simultaneously both of those things.
Oh my god! All right, so
I think you get our feelings at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, shit. I am glad it's over. I will never want to revisit any of these episodes ever goddamn again. I hope they somehow make him less annoying in Defenders, because I want to like Defenders. I like Daredevil. I like Luke Cage. I like Jessica Jones.
I've never wanted something in the Marvel universe to have a reboot as much as this.
Soft reboot.
so just retcon it all. It's cool.
Unfortunately, there's already set photos, or I'd be campaigning for it, but we already know they've shot it.
Exactly. It's too late at this point.
In fact, they just wrapped shooting, actually.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because the catering company who was doing it put out an Instagram photo of the sort of the celebration cake for finishing it.
All right. That's cool. I guess we can see that later this year.
No, we knew that anyway.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm less excited after this, frankly.
On the upside, our expectations now being low might reap rewards. Come.
It might. Not that they were particularly high for this going in.
They weren't. But it doesn't matter. It's shit enough that even with low expectations, it was still terrible.
Do you know what? It's shit enough that even after I heard all the critics' buzz before it all came out, I was still like, it can't be that bad, surely. It was still worse than I expected.
This was the Batman v Superman of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
That said, Batman v Superman still angers me more because I care about those characters.
But I still got plenty of passionate anger out of this show without any real caring of the character.
Also true. Alright, as we said, we're going to do a spoiler-free, full-season sort of thing where we talk about the sort of issues without getting into plot details. Which, admittedly, if you've watched all 12 of these, all 13 of these, let's not sell you short. If you've watched 13, you've watched 13.
It's on your bit.
But if you've seen all these, I don't know necessarily if that's something that'll be for you. But I mean, you can check it out anyway. We're basically just going to stop recording this right now and start recording that. So it's going to be.
Feel free to show that to your friends as to, hey, you want a concise reason of why not to watch this show? Check out that video.
So we're literally just about to record that. It won't go up straight after. We're going to leave it at least half a day, maybe put it up tomorrow, kind of thing. But we're going to be doing that as well, so you can check that out if you want. But this has been the 13th and final episode review of Season 1 of Iron Fist. I am so happy this is done.
Congratulations, folks. You made it through it with us.
Let us know what you thought of this episode, and indeed the season as a whole. Free, of course, to talk spoilers in the chat, because people have been very good, actually, throughout the season of not spoiling later episodes, despite the fact that they're clearly ahead of us, which is really, really cool. Really,
it's one of the few shows we probably wouldn't have cared that much.
Still, it'd affect the future.
I appreciate it,
but it would affect the future discussions if they spoiled it, because
yeah.
we know stuff was happening, and we wouldn't be as angry about certain things. So it would actually ruin the future content for them.
Yeah,
in a weird way. So, but either way, that's good. But let us know what you think in the comments. The show, this episode, and the season. Like and subscribe. Guys, I don't even. You know what? You've watched 13 of these.
You know the drill.
You've heard me say this so many times. I'm just gonna. You know what? Thanks for watching, guys. Have you got any vanilla?